Today I'm going to show off some of the best Microbrand watches you can get on the market right now. Let's get into it. Yes, and welcome to the Mad Watch Collector Show. And it is a very special show today. I'm going to give you 6 reasons why you should buy a Microbrand in 2023 and moving on to 2024. And each reason is going to be a Microbrand. Yes, I've scoured the globe to find you the best independent watch brands that are making watches you need to know about. Now, with these 6, I've tried to include absolutely everything so that there will be at least one watch you out there are going to want to buy. We got divers, chronographs, pilots watches, GMTs, triple calendar complications. Also today, you can't call my tastes boring because we're showing off more colours today than Michelangelo's paint cupboard. Say what? So excited. Are you, awesome independent watch brand, ready? Let's go. Okay, so we know of the brands like Laurier and Baltic, brands that have really nailed that vintage aesthetic combined with modern design. But they're not the only brands doing it. And the first dive watch I've got to show off today is from a Canadian brand called Heron. Yes, this brand based in Montreal has only been around for a couple of years, but I have to say their first watches are absolute winners. And I give you the Héron Marinor. What an incredibly handsome watch this is. Yes, we've got inspirations from Omega and Blancpain from the 50s and 60s, but it is truly a beautifully sculpted, vintage inspired case. Beautifully brushed and polished. The transitions are fantastic on this 316L stainless steel case. Great tastefully looking crown guards, decent sized crown. We've got a domed sapphire bezel insert. The bezel is 120 click unidirectional. Great ratchet to it. Ooh, no backplay whatsoever. I love the Marinor man on their case back. That is a awesome touch. And this watch is a sort of ode to man's conquest of the seas during the 50s and 60s. And when we take a look at the dial, that 12 o'clock applied marker is depicting the North Star, which for navigators back in the old days was quite important. Now the Marinor comes in several different colours. I've got the Atlantic blue dial, and I love the degrading from that blue sea to the dark depths around the edge. That dial is simple and looks perfect to me. With a screw down crown and screw down case back, this watch is waterproof to 300 meters. Also, the dial is protected by a domed sapphire glass. Inside this puppy, we've got a Miyota 9039. It's automatic, purrs away at 28,800 beats per hour, 24 joules, and just under 40 hours of power reserve. Now, so far, I know you're saying to yourselves, that's quite a good package. Yeah, but wait, Heron offers something else. In fact, after being sent this watch a couple of weeks, they emailed me with a question that said, have you tried to scratch it yet? Not something a brand usually asks, you know? But by using a specialized carbon infused process, Heron has made all of this 316L steel virtually scratch proof. In fact, they gave me a regular bracelet to test out and compare it to this one. Here's a regular bracelet. Ooh, that's not nice. This watch comes with screw links. The links and end links are solid. So I thought I'd use a spare link, you know, for this demonstration. And would you believe it? Not a scratch in sight. If that doesn't put you in total confidence that you can bash this puppy around, I don't know what will. Now, with all that value, the price you ask? Well, to get a Marinor, it's going to cost you $620 US. In pounds, that's just under 490. But if you are outside of Canada, remember that import tax. But I expect huge things from Heron in the next few years, because if the Marinor's anything to go by, this brand's gonna... Okay, time for a pilot's watch. And a brand I have admired from afar for some time now is Hemel. Marvin, the owner, has an incredible sense of design and basically knows what watch enthusiasts want.
A bit of vintage inspiredness.
And what we've got here today is the Hemel Air Wing, a bi-compact manual wind chronograph utilizing the amazing Seagull ST19 movement. Look at that beauty, will ya? I gotta say I'm a big fan of Hemel, and just the feel of his watches. Definitely gives you a sense of you're holding something special. It's a stainless steel case with a gorgeous padded leather strap. One of my favourites, I think. We've got a domed sapphire crystal protecting the dial. The bezel insert is ceramic, and the bezel itself is 120 click unidirectional. A tad light for me personally, but still good. Ooh, I gotta admit, I really do love the logo and the name. It sounds like a brand, you know? Now, not only is this dial great looking in the day, in the nighttime it's awesome too. Even the two hands on the sub-dials are glowing. This is a manual wind only, so it's one of those watches you really can bond with, you know? Oh, I love a wind of an ST19. Like with all Microbrands, it's those certain little extra touches that the likes of Seiko just don't do, like possibly ceramic bezel inserts or signed crowns. For me and my wrist, I think this watch is absolutely perfect, and with 100 meters of water resistance, well, I can do anything, go anywhere, can't I? Currently, the Hemel Air Wing is £403, brand new on the website, and for the reputation that this brand has built so far, and for what you actually get with your money, Hemel are superb. Impressed already, eh? You wait, there's more to come. Now I want a watch for an adventure. You know, one that can take a beating, still look cool, from a brand that's been around for a few years now, and yeah, I want to go titanium. And ladies and gentlemen, here is the RZE Endeavour. A Thule titanium dive watch that I've had my eye on for quite some time. This brand was born out of a passion for outdoor life with a utilitarian design built to last a lifetime. This titanium watch with the medallion yellow dial has to be one of the standout watches of 2023 for $529 US. I think this is a fantastic package. Again, this watch is practically indestructible and scratch proof. It's a hugely capable 200 meter diver, 120 click unidirectional bezel, screw-in crown, screw-in case back. I love the way the case is sculpted. You don't realize how many angles you can create in a watch case and still make it look great. Very short lugs, which I love. That angle down, that's gonna hug the wrist really nice. Drilled lugs as well. The bracelet looks fantastic with that H-link design, solid links, solid end links, double deploying clasp, and we have an on-the-fly adjustment as well. Inside, this puppy is powered by the NH35. A proven workhorse is inside this thing. I love the color of this dial and the textured finish to it as well. It's something so playful with the indices. Each applied marker is framed in black and just looks so sporty. In the loom shot, we're using both BGW9 and C3. It glows a good one. But for anyone looking for a badass diver that is going to take a pounding, I highly recommend the RZE Endeavour.
Could you just click that like button, please? It really helps the channel. Thank you.
Right, let's up the complications, shall we? And I want to show off a GMT. Not a traveller's GMT, you know, not a poor man's one, but a true GMT. It's time to show off the Duckworth Prestex Rivington. Now, you know I love a watch with a history and some sort of story. Now, Neil Duckworth, the owner of Duckworth Prestex, has been in and around watches all of his life. In fact, in the 80s, he was one of the main reasons why Tag Heuer made such a big burst into the UK market. In Bolton, in the 1800s, Prestex, who developed their own pocket watches and later made their own watches. In the 40s, the brand diversified and started bringing in Omega and Rolex watches into their stores. In the 60s and 70s, watches by Prestex became discontinued. So all of his watches are inspired by ones from the past, from a brand he is very close to, but they're going to be done in his flamboyant, colourful way. And his new release, the Rivington, is definitely no exception. First of all, what pulls me into this style of watch is that cushion case, so synonymous with the 30s, the 40s. And I told you I went for colour, didn't I? Yes, in my opinion, the orange dial with this orange rubber strap is my favourite of his bunch. And that coupled with the baby blue seconds hand and GMT hand, I think this is very cool. There's a lot of detail on that dial with the waffle style texture of the sunburst orange, as well as those fantastically made applied numerals. I love that outside railroad track as well. We've got a 48 click bi-directional bezel that has a ceramic insert, very nice sounding. subtle, but it's there. A lovely exposed crown at 3 o'clock, which is screw down. And with its screw down case back, this watch is 200 meters of water resistance. Not bad for a GMT. Let's not forget also that this dial is protected with a sapphire glass. Now, when I say true GMT, this has one of those movements inside. Yes, thanks to the Miyota 9075, we can independently move that hour hand. The only trouble with a true GMT is you don't have quick set date. You have to use that hour hand to go all around the dial 24 hours to change the date. But if it's good enough for a Rolex GMT, it's good enough for this, isn't it? Pull out the crown to the last position and we can set the whole time and move that GMT hand as well. Now, true GMTs in this type of package usually set you back well over £1,000, especially the way that this is made. This is a proper watch. But in the rubber strap, these Rivingtons are going to cost you £795. With a bracelet, it's going to be £895. This is a perfect watch for me from a brand that combines modern technology inspired by the past. Just the way I like them. Neil at Duckworth Prestex is coming on leaps and bounds recently, and the brand is definitely one to watch in 2024. Right, time for another dive watch, and let's talk about a brand called Isotope, because they really do things differently, inspired by popular culture, Art Nouveau, Art Deco. Their watch designs to me make me think of, the first 60s Star Treks. Well, Isotope's Hydrium is this personified. But I've not got any old Hydrium for you today. I've got one with a cosmic collision of red and blue. It's the limited edition purple Hydrium, which I think is madness and cool at the same time. But I have to say, first of all, this is a watch from a brand that leaves no stone unturned, no detail unthought of, and it is very noticeable. This is a hugely capable 300-meter diver. The case is 316L steel, but it has been micro bead blasted to give you this 50s futuristic retro flying saucer texture. And the case does such an amazing job at looking familiar, but also looking completely different than anything else. I love the knurling of that 3 o'clock crown. Also the texture of this proper utilitarian bezel that has a sapphire insert. Oh, and that bezel action is special. We've got a screw down case back, but we have a sapphire exhibition glass, which is showing off a Swiss Landeron automatic movement. 28,800 beats per hour, 40 hours power reserve, and it has 25 joules. And look at the decoration on the movement. Blued screws, gear shade patterns. Also on the rotor, you see the Côte de Genève texture. Now that is what an exhibition case back should be. The leather strap that accompanies this watch is so soft, it's ridiculous.
It has amazing purple stitching.
The tang buckle matches the micro bead blastedness of the case. Isotope were founded in 2016, and in 2023, moving on to 2024, I can definitely see them having another big year. This watch is only limited to 100 pieces. It's just over £1,000. I feel that this watch is something special. Bravo, Isotope! Right, last watch, and let's go with a complication I've never shown you before. A triple calendar. And the last watch comes from the fantastic brand Maen. Two dudes that love watches came together and realised they could make a good watch. Yet founded in 2017, the brand has come up with several releases that give you a proper vintage, luxurious aesthetic in a modern package. And the watch I'm showing you is the Brooklyn Triple Calendar 37. You can already see why this is one of my favourites, because this brand absolutely nails design using those vintage cues. The dial utilises the old 60s pipe hand looks. I love that chocolatey brown coffee sunburst that is sandwiched on top of the dial. The sub-dials are sunken in and have that awesome texture to them. The box dome sapphire just adds to that vintage look, as well as this expertly made Jubilee bracelet, screw-in links, solid end links, butterfly clasp. Now this is a triple calendar, meaning we have the day of the week, the date and the month. This all thanks to a Miyota 9122 automatic movement. We can change the day at the first position of the crown, turn it the other way, and we can change the date. But to change the month, well, we've got a little nubbin at 2 o'clock on the side of the case. Push that in and you can amend the month. This watch is so sophisticated, it almost looks too nice to be on my wrist. And for only €679, this watch is an absolute steal. Yes, it may only have 50 meters of water resistance, but it is pretty much a dress watch, isn't it? Again, another fantastic watch from a brand that needs to be shouted about. So there we go, 6 amazing watches that I am so happy to show off to you. I'm pretty chuffed myself because I think I've given you just everything here. The only thing I haven't given you is a digital watch. In fact, honestly, if my collection of watches were just this 6...
And maybe a G-Shock or 2.
I don't think I need any more, do I? A big thank you to all 6 brands that sent me these watches in, and I don't have to give them back. I know there are many people out there that will now be on the websites checking out these watches for not only before Christmas, but also in January when they get a bit of pocket money. I'd love to know your thoughts. Which one's your favourite? Very hard to pick myself because they all offer something different to me. They are all awesome. Okay, we knew it was coming. Our wife's first impressions on all of these watches. Oh, you ready? First of all, the RZE Endeavour. I do not like the feel of this one. Feels very light, like a kid's toy. And the logo looks like it's from some sort of courier company. The Isotope Purple Hydrium Pro. Strangely, I don't mind this one. It reminds me of something from The Simpsons, but I do quite like it. The Héron Marinor. This is quite nice, but I feel like I've seen this watch before. And what's with the Star of Bethlehem at the top? The Hemel Air Wing. Yeah, I like this. This is good. This is a bit of me. It's understated and it's quite vintagey. Nice. The Duckworth Prestex Rivington GMT. This one's given me Finding Nemo vibes. Looks like scales on the dial. Very orange, isn't it? This is a very dressy watch, very blingy. Not a massive fan, but I can see why people would like it. This one looks a little bit like an angry owl. Oh, well, there you go. Not too bad from the wife, you know. I particularly like the last one when she called the Maen an angry owl. Overall, I don't think it was too bad. Get in the description below. Check out all the websites for these amazing brands. I'll be wanting to do a lot more independent watch brand reviews next year because I just think they offer something a little bit different to the mainstream. Because without the likes of these brands, the big brands can just charge whatever they like and we would be none the wiser. Thank you for watching till the end. Click here. Go on and join the Mad Watch Collector channel. Want some merch? Go a little bit further down in the description and you'll see it. But more importantly, if I've got you for a few more minutes, why don't you check this one out? Oh, this one's sensational. Check it out. Go on, click it. Click it.